What's going on, everyone? We have a very special occasion today. It's actually a couple things today. So, for starters, today is March 11th, and two very big things are happening today. The first big thing, shout out to my wife, Audrey McClure. Hold on, we got to put some respect on her name. Shout out to Dr. Audrey McClure. Today is March 11th, which means it's her birthday. Shout out to Audrey, man. We gonna do some fun things a little bit later on today, but can't start this video without shouting out Audrey and her special day. But today also serves another purpose. Today, March 11th, we recognize, we acknowledge Social Emotional Learning Day. Today is SEL Day. It's actually International SEL Day as well. And so I just wanted to make a very short video, a very quick video. I might be having a special guest joining me too. We'll see in a little bit. But I just wanted to just kind of shout out, why social emotional learning matters, what it means to me, just a few things that I've done along the way. And interestingly enough, in the same vein of it being my wife's birthday, I had to do the romantic thing. Got her some balloons and some other small gifts, and I dropped it off to her job a little bit earlier. And I ran into a former colleague. She's working in a district where I actually started out my career as a school psychologist, and I did my internship there. And I ran into another gentleman who worked at that same school where I was doing my internship, and we got to talk a little bit. But this work for me runs deep, and I did my internship. This had to be, whew, back in 2011, so a long time ago. And even, well, really, I guess 2010, because I actually started practicing as a school psychologist in 2011. So if I did my internship in 2010, that means it was roughly about 12 years ago. And at that time, my priority was working with behavioral and emotional support groups. So providing supports to students who were at, tier three, receiving special education supports and services, and providing behavioral and mental health supports to those students. That was a big part of what I did. So it was kind of ironic. I think it was, by design that I ran into my former colleague, and we were just catching up. And as I reflect on this International SEL Day, it really makes me think of the core of what I joined this profession for, which was always to improve outcomes for youth, in particular for youth of color. Some of you may know, but my research also looked at, it was an investigation of Castle Select programs with youth of color from high poverty communities. And from my internship year, from my research studies, my practice, my research emphasis has always been to improve outcomes for youth who have historically been marginalized. And over the years, SEL has grown, it's evolved, it's become this big thing, right? And for me, it's important on this SEL day to really reflect on where I've come in my trajectory of this work, and really to notice and reflect that at its core, it's always been about improving outcomes. I've tried so many different SEL curriculums. The very first SEL curriculum that I ever used was Strong Kids. So shout out to the Strong Kids SEL curriculum, real big out of the University of Oregon. Rest in peace to the late Dr. Ken Murrow, who created, founded all of Strong Kids, and I used that at the elementary school, at the middle school level where I was. And while Strong Kids is really great, it's an evidence based program, strong program. It wasn't really getting it with my students. Like, they would be good in group, but it wouldn't translate out into the classroom. And so this is where my practice really evolved with this strength based approach, and really wanting to understand how to meet the needs of the young people with who I work. And one of the most important things is, you get rid of those curriculums and you just talk with students. You talk with them, you understand their needs on a deep level, on an authentic level. so that you can understand what moves you, what brings you joy, what are some pain points, what are things that you struggle with, what are things that might be prohibiting you from bringing your best self into the school, what are your goals in life. And with that, I remember having that conversation, and our young people, we were just spending so much time talking about our goals, and their vision for life and the future that they envision for themselves. And then we shifted towards what's blocking it. And in that conversation, I remember one of the young boys who I was working with, and he had such an insightful moment because he said, really, I can make a bunch of excuses. I could talk about my family life. I could talk about who didn't do this for me, who wasn't there for me. But really, I have to reach a point where I'm taking ownership of the things that I have control over the things that I can influence. And that was really insightful from the moment coming from a seventh grade student. And he said, I know what I need to do, but at times I'm a kid and I need to be given the space to make mistakes, but not told that I'm less than or I'll never be this. Like, I'm a kid, I'm gonna mess up, but also being given the tools to be successful, being given the tools to navigate difficult situations, to understand how to maneuver conflict with peers and how to resolve conflict peacefully. And so we spent a lot of time really focused on those skills that in this particular group of young men uh, focused on the skills that they need to be successful and really understand the world around them. And from that work, it really evolved, mixed with my dissertation and research, towards me creating my own social emotional learning program. But the key point here is meeting, talking with, thriving with, moving with, being in space and community with young people. And for this SEL day, I can't overstate or stress the importance of talking with people, man. Talking with kids to understand what their needs are, to understand what their challenges are, what their barriers are, especially now more than ever. In the midst of a pandemic, hopefully we're emerging out of this pandemic. We've heard stories, we've seen what's going on in schools with all of the different challenges that young people, educators are having. Well, what can we do to make sure that we're creating the conditions where young people have the opportunities to succeed? And so on this SEL day, I just wanted to reflect on some of those things. For me, the future of SEL, it's not really with any set curriculum or any specific manualized treatment program. I don't think that's it. I think the future of SEL is really going to be in the hands of young people. I think the future of social emotional learning is promoting student agency. Of course, elevating student voice, that's important, but student agency where they have ownership over their education process. I think that's going to be critical. I think it's going to be important for students to be co-authors, to be co-creators, and co-design the solutions that they need to navigate the world around them. We have to recognize our young people have power, and we need to be able to empower them so that they can be successful. We have to assume the role of being facilitators. I remember I was part of this working group, and there was a young person on the call, a high school student, and it was a conversation of what adults needed to do, and she was like, "Look, adults, y'all are great. Y'all can be there to support us, but y'all got to play the role and be our interns." And really, what she meant is we have to be able to help them, right? Not tell them what to do, not be so compliance driven and, assume all the power. We have to be able to cede that power, invite them to the table, and help them to elevate their voice, to help create agency over their educational trajectory, and then help them along the way to be successful in everything that they do. So I believe we have to begin at some point shifting away from these manualized treatment programs, because one size doesn't work for everyone. We have to be in the business of creating solutions, inviting young people to the table so that they can help us to co-create these solutions together, and then I think magic is gonna happen. So on this SEL day, I hope you're doing something fun. I'm about to do something fun, and as the kids say, go turn up with my wife for a little bit. But just wanted to drop this video. Yeah, that's all I got. Make sure y'all follow me on social media at School Psych Life, at bmcclure6 on Instagram. I'm dabbling on TikTok, so don't worry about that too much. But until next time, peace. Take care, y'all.